Hey everybody, it's Bobo the Vulture, and it's time for more Let's Play Extreme Warfare Revenge. Let's click anywhere to begin, and continue on with the normal buttons. We are going to load our last game. You know the story at this point. The story is there is a tense feud between Axel Law and Steve Stone. I was about to say Axel Stone and Steve Law. Hey, I'm Steve Law. Be sure to obey the law. Fast Eddie versus El Majito. Maybe a Fast Eddie versus El Majito feud would be good to start. Yeah, why not? Although first, there's something I want to check on our roster. Little Nate. He is alright, so he's a lightweight. Good. The other day I was trying to look up facts for this game just to get some sort of broad guidelines, because obviously there are some things that don't work exactly the way that you would expect them to, like that whole um, sponsors payment per show thing. Um, that didn't quite work the way that I was expecting. Speaking of, let's see. Anybody suggest Fast Eddie versus Little Nate? That seems like it would be a good show. But no. Okay. And El Machito, you are back from, oh, he's on tour now. Well, I guess that just means Fast Eddie is going to be cutting a lot of heel promos. Fast Eddie's going to be cutting a lot of heel promos. Trying to, you know, further that feud, if I do it. And you know what, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and start a feud between Fast Eddie and El Machito. Fast Eddie versus El Machito. We're just basically going to keep taking the guys from the top of our roster. There you go. Fast Eddie and El Machito. Wow. I haven't even done any segments for the feud. I've just announced the existence of it to my own staff, and already apparently the fans and the Heat are more concerned about it than this Axel Law Steve Stone feud that's been going on for like half a year. I guess El Machito really is a big star. Who's he touring with right now? He tours with Canadian, or he also works for Canadian Golden Combat, which is fine. He also is on tour with Noah, Pro Wrestling Noah. So let's find out, when does Pro Wrestling Noah have its shows? Little Nate is also with them, so I guess we wouldn't have managed to get anything out of pretty much all of August. And all of September. Yeah, pretty much all of August and September. So this feud is going to start out with just a bunch of promos of Fast Eddie just taunting El Machito, and then El Machito will come back and they'll have a match, and yeah, stuff like that will happen. Don't worry, I'm sure one or the other of them will get hired away before the feud is over. Oh, so negative. Why so negative, Bobo? It's just the reality on the ground as I see it, man. Alright, we got all our sponsors set up. We did go ahead and hire new staff. Let's check with Sophie on that. Yep. The league is still El Majito could use a change of gimmick. A... Right now, El Majito is a ninja. So, what could El Majito become when he returns? That's something we'll have to think about, folks. Something we'll have to give lots of thought and maybe some prayer to. I'm not actually going to pray or tell you to pray about this particular subject matter, but I guess it's there for you if you want. Sean Royal, written contract, Donovan Morgan, rent blades, and a bunch of sponsor deals. So let's go ahead and close the mail there. Let's move to the next day. What is happening on Thursday in the world of wrestling? Well, it used to be what SmackDown was. I don't know if it was at this point. I think SmackDown was still on Thursdays in 2004. SmackDown eventually became a Friday show, I think, but yeah, that wasn't for a while. SmackDown was on Thursdays, and I feel like it competed against Thursday Night Thunder. WCW Thunder in Paradise. Mess with him and you're rolling the dice. That's not actually a song that went with WCW Thunder, although it did go with a wrestler who might have appeared on WCW Thunder, although probably not as often as Nitro, Hulk Hogan. If you remember the television, if you remember that period of time, Hulk Hogan did have a TV show called Thunder in Paradise, where it was basically conceptually it was something like Knight Rider except with a boat, like Night Boat, which I guess was a parody concept they came up with, I think on The Simpsons or something like that. They really made something like that, and it starred Hulk Hogan. And he had a boat that had advanced computer technology and like an AI that he would like have conversations with. Not real deep conversations. I mean, you're talking about an early generation AI and Hulk Hogan, but still, they held their own little tete-a-tetes. I only ever saw like I think maybe an episode and a half of that show, but the one thing I will say is in the episode that I saw, Hulk Hogan did teach some adorable little girl how to hold chopsticks and eat with chopsticks. And for some reason, like I guess either nobody had ever explained it to me before or explained it to me in a way that I understood, but somehow Hulk Hogan was able to describe the technique for eating with chopsticks in a way that I can understand. And since I saw that episode of Thunder in Paradise, I've known basically what you're supposed to do to eat with chopsticks. It's pretty special, I know. So we've managed to skip through the whole month. I think managing to go through all the days like that. Obviously, we got a lot of mail to get through here, but that might be a better way to sort of try and skip through these things and get things done quickly, although I still end up dithering around. Okay, you're on an open contract. Chris Sprules will still work with us, although I gotta bear in mind that Chris Sprules might just up and leave and get Russ Haas Memorial. Russ Haas was a professional wrestler who I think, he was the brother of Charlie Haas. Charlie Haas managed to make it into the WWE as one half of the world's greatest tag team. I don't necessarily know that they were the world's greatest tag team, but that's what their billing was. It was Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. They were a good tag team. Don't get me wrong, but all right. So Chris Sprules now has an open contract with one of the top federations in this little universe. This little universe of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Woo! Crisp Rules, you are also working for ROH, but you're just hanging out with us right now. Oh, his tag team partner of Cade Seidel. I feel like he's a guy that I keep looking at in the other worker rosters and thinking that'd be a good guy to hire. If I haven't done that in this go-through, I know that I've done that a lot. Because he's a guy that's like, yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the best brawl skill. Um, he's got a decent technical skill. He's got an amazing agility, speed skill, and he's very charismatic. So, yeah, but he wants 13 grand an appearance, which would be fine if we could sign him up for a written contract so that that wouldn't waver. But obviously we can't do that. Is he good buddies with Chris Rules? No, he's just a tag team partner with Chris Rules. All right. Let's also check with El Machito here. Yes, he is currently on tour with Noah, and so is little Nate. They are both off doing great things in the world of wrestling. So, actually, if that's so, little Nate's not going to be able to debut his new gimmick. Neither does El Machito. Trent Baker could use a change of gimmick. Axel Law, I'm going to leave with his current gimmick until his current angle, his current feud is up. I said Trent Baker could use a change of gimmick. He is an American. He's a good brawler, good high-speed guy. Not especially charismatic. He's a lightweight. We have him working as a heel. He does not have any other special relationships. He is not menacing looking. He's not super cool with Fonz factor. So we don't want to give him any feuds that would require him to be menacing looking. He could use a new gimmick, though. What is the new gimmick? Shall we do this? Shall we do the gimmick-o-matic? Or even gimmick-o-matic? Savage. Savage, old school face. Probably not going to work for him. Alright, so it could be Savage or a lumberjack. Let's go into the writers' meeting. This is... Alright. Savage was the one that came up first, so let's take a look at what Savage is. Exactly, the way they describe it. Savage. This worker is a wild, uncontrollable animal. I feel like, considering he's already been in the league for a while, it would be hard to convince people that he'd just become a wild, uncontrollable animal. That's like, oh my god, he lost all of his civilized and, higher level thinking. He's become a vicious beast. In his transformed state, he's just as dangerous as Vegeta. Um, let's look at Lumberjacks. He is an evil lumberjack. I feel like that's supposed to be a face gimmick. I don't know for sure that there's a restriction against it, but I kind of feel like the lumberjack thing probably supposed to be like that's a fun guy. Metalhead. There could definitely be a heel metalhead out there. Writing staff. Metalhead. Tell me about the metalheads. Like Max Payne. He's a headbanging, leather-dressed, hardcore heavy metal fan. Yeah. I kind of like it. Let's make Trent Baker a metalhead, folks. This will happen in the next show. Faux show. He does tornado DDTs all the time, so that's cool. Alright. Zilla versus Steve Stone. Of course, Fast Eddie and El Mojito are not. Fast Eddie and El Mojito can't have a match because El Mojito is not here tonight. So that's basically what it's going to be. Fast Eddie's going to walk out and be like, I wanted to have a match with El Mojito, but he doesn't have the guts to show up here. Boo! And all the fans are going to boo. And now that we have some really skilled commentators, um, level like high 30s guys both, they're going to be able to point out, well, hey, wait a minute, that's not fair. El Machito has a match in Japan tonight. He couldn't possibly be here at the same time. And it's gonna be good. That's gonna be that might just for the sake of changing things up, it might be nice to do that as the first segment. Single worker with manager, and it's going to be Fast Eddie. Bruce Sanchez with Fast Eddie. And the target will be El Mojito. There you are, El Mojito. And the interview purpose will be to get this feud on. Get your feud on. Actually, I should find out too. Are there any angles that debut new gimmicks? Video angles, turn angles, stable angles, romance angles, other angles, manager angles, host angles, diva angles, debut angles, authority angles, ambush angles, 1 versus 1 angles. Other angles? Mystery Stalker, retirement passing of the torch, Stalker revealed in text, celebration, partners hanging out, walking backstage, warming up. Wrestler thanks another wrestler for help. Now, don't like any of those angles. Select angle style. Angles that cause someone to turn. Involve stable angles that involve romance. They debut a worker or workers. Authority figure debuts. Singles acts for opportunity. Singles debut as ally client. Stable member. Attack. Call out dueling microphones. Via limo. Well, I'm going to start doing this whenever I sign people now. I'm going to start using those fun angles to do it. But it doesn't look like there is a specific angle for showing new gimmicks off. And if there is, I just haven't found it, and I'll have to check it out later, which is certainly possible. It's doable, folks. Let's not worry too much about it at this juncture. Instead, let's worry about putting on the best show possible for all my fans out there, all the loyal little twisters, like the twister Ronnie Twist. There's a guy named Ronnie. Was his name Ronnie Twist? I feel like it was. Anyways, let's take a look at the roster. Not counting El Mojito. Okay, so yeah, let's. So we've got Steve Stone. Steve Stone needs to have a match. Steve Stone probably should have a match that Axel interferes in. Steve Stone could have a match with Jarrell Clark or Jafar. Hmm. That's probably Fast Eddie's the way to go for this one. Fast Eddie versus Steve Stone. And then Axel will come in and interfere. Oh yeah, the main event is going to be an interview. That'll be good. Singles match, 1 versus 1. There we go. It's going to be a single match. Fast Eddie and Steve Stone. They are not wrestling for a title. The result will be a win for Fast Eddie. Is going to be a run-in from Axel Law, as you might expect. Axel Law by interference, or Fast Eddie wins by interference. This time the aftermath will be Steve Stone. Steve Stone, he got his revenge. Yeah, Steve Stone manages to get the big fight back going here. The purpose will be, drumroll please, to continue the feud. Let's have an interview here. This is going to be a single worker with manager segment. Actually, no. Yeah, no. Let's make this a single worker with manager segment. And it's going to be Bruce Sanchez with Axel Law. They're going to be talking about Steve Stone. You know how they do. Sorry, folks. I'm using my touchpad instead of my mouse for whatever reason. It is going to continue the feud, so I could just use the touch screen, but it ends up being slightly hinky, probably because I have big old fingers or something. Ladies, you know what they say about a man with big fingers, right? He points at things. Well, you can point at large objects. Okay, so this is going to be a match there. Then let's also have, let's see, how many segments does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? I think it's 3 segments they're okay to be in. I'm pushing Bruce Sanchez a lot because he's got a lot of different interviews to do for people. I would also like Bruce Sanchez to, in an interview, describe what's going on with Trent Baker before Trent Baker goes out there in a match against, I don't know. Tommy Cho wouldn't be a bad choice. Actually, Katsushi Takamura wouldn't be a bad choice either. You know, I'm just going to come out and say it. I got a damn good roster of guys here. Damn good. Yeah, really, Sanjay Dutt or Takamura could put on a good match with him. I mean, so could Little Nate, but of course he's not available at the moment. Now Chris Spruill's here. Maybe I don't want to include him in any angles in the near future. Alright. Let's go ahead and put Trent Baker into a match with let's put him in a match with Sanjay Dutt. Trent Baker and Sanjay Dutt are going to have a match. That will probably be not this match, but this match. Here we go. Match 1 versus 1. Single match. It's going to be old Trent Baker versus new Sanjay Dutt. I know. They're probably not significantly different in time. Sanjay Dutt is newer to this company, sure, but we're going to give this one to Trent Baker because he's debuting his gimmick, and if you debut your gimmick and you lose, then I feel like that's kind of a slight. Nothing. Let's put on a good match. Interview segment. Single worker with manager. Bruce Sanchez with Trent Baker. And you know what? Let's go ahead and have him call out Sanjay Dutt to hype this match. And while he's doing that, people can just look at him and be like, what? What is going on? He looks so strange. Alright. Interview segment. Single worker with manager. Mist Neal with Steve Stone. There we go. So I lost track of things there for a second. They are targeting Axel Law, and the purpose of this is to hype the feud. Not hype the feud, continue the feud. You know what I'm saying. And actually, let me go ahead and start this with. I would like to start this with an angle. I'm going to go ahead and start this with an angle that involves a diva. We've got the one diva, so you know who it's going to be. Let's see what kind we have here. Bikini contest, diva argument, diva flirts with guy, flirting to an ambush, stripping. One diva attacks and strips another. So basically there's just diva flirts with guy. Or catfight. Backstage argument with her man. Diva walks in on, yeah, there's... Let's go ahead and just do diva flirts with guy. A diva flirts with a worker. Mist Neal is going to flirt with her client, Sanjay Dutt. We'll see whether or not Dutt gets any overness out of this. And whether Mist Neal does. You know, folks love the diva angles. Right? Sure. Now, let's go ahead and feed somebody to Axel Law. Axel Law is hungry. Wake up. It's feeding time. Alright, actually, Axel Law and GQ Smooth would have a really nice match. Is that something that's already been suggested to me as a thing that should happen? It's been suggested, but I've never actually put it together. Or if I have, the road agent didn't say, oh, wow, that worked out really great. So 1 versus 1. Single match. It is going to be Axel Law versus GQ Smooth. With his new suave gimmick, I mean, it's got to work, right? Axel Law is going to come out there with his completely generic appearance and demeanor and totally wipe out this super smooth, suave, GQ smooth, suave. Axel Law is going to do it. He'll cheat. Let's not ruin any of the momentum GQ Smooth has with his relatively new gimmick by causing him to have a loss in his second match. Then Axel Law gets out of there because he's just being slimy. And they're just putting on a good match. I know, there could be so much more to it, right? So then we have one more match segment that we need to put in. But we pretty much just put whoever we want to in here. Who do we have that we would like to see in a match? We'll get Jafar into a nice match with... I bet Jafar and Takamura would have a really nice match. While I'm thinking about that... Though so would Jafar and Chris Rules. As we know, Chris Rules just got moved up into ROH. So, maybe we want to take every opportunity that we can right now to use Chris Rules. And you know what? I feel like Jafar has done his penance for bad-mouthing the company in a radio interview. I'm going to go ahead and let him have this one over Chris Rules. Also, I feel more like slighting Chris Rules for signing up with ROH than I do for continuing to slight Jafar for bad-mouthing the company. Actually, Chris Rules is being really good to us here because he could have just attempted to get a written contract. I'm sure they're still offering, whatever they're doing, they're probably still offering him more money than we can. So, Chris Rules actually being a stand-up guy here. And no, let's make this another cheating to win. It's gonna be that kind of card. There's gonna be a lot of cheap victories, but you know what? It's gonna be the way that things go. And there's not gonna be an aftermath to it. They're just putting on a good match. Alright guys, I expect to see a good match out of you. Let's go ahead and start the anniversary bash. Sanjay Dutt and Miss Tennille both gained overness from the segment. Sanjay Dutt's backstage when Miss Tennille walks over, flirts with him and then leaves, smiling. Hey, Sanjay Dutt actually got some overness out of that. Usually whenever Miss Tennille's in a segment, she's the only one that gains overness for whatever reason. Bruce Sanchez is backstage with Fast Eddie. He continued this feud that he just started. That's okay. Let's take a look at this match. Pretty good match, and the crowd's pretty warmed up at this point, so that's nice. Chris Sprules and oh, Tommy Chill. Forgot that Tommy Chill is actually doing our color commentary. But he seems to be pretty good at it. The crowd's into things. So I'm okay with it. Trent Baker debuted his new gimmick and it got a positive response. So that's good. And both he and Bruce Sanchez continue to get more overness. Now he's about to have the match, right? I did click next, didn't I? There we go. Sometimes it takes a minute for these things to load. That is a good match, although the crowd didn't give a crap. 38% response, still more than I got from that other one. Miss Danielle, still gaining overness. She had a lot to get, I guess. Yeah, so there we go. So far, all the segments have been good. Nothing has been earth-shattering. Now, see, GQ Smooth and Axel Law, they know how to put on a decent match. Not the world's most stellar match, a good match though, and the crowd was into it enough. I guess because Axel Law is involved in an angle right now. Bruce Sanchez gained overness from this, and it was a pretty good interview. And I guess it had the, it was fraught with consequence because it was all about that angle. Fast Eddie and Steve Stone put on a good match. And the crowd was relatively pleased. So, nice show, everybody. Well done. I appreciate all of your hard work. Ha. Let's go to the first thing here. Trent Baker wants to be farther up. So does GQ Smooth. 49. Oh man. If only we got a little bit more notoriety. I think if we get up to 50%, we might be able to reach a new tier of sponsorship. That'd be something, right? Madison, wait. Alright, there's a bunch of other events also on that Sunday or whatever it was. Alright, 30 days has September, April, June, and November, so we will have to go through 31 here. And one more day. There'll be a few TV results sort of intermingled. But we also got all this stuff going on. Raw, ROH Monday, MLW Underground, TNA's pay-per-view, other things, Pride, have announced the competitor possessive for the next month of the next year's, next week, next day. Thing of shows. Oh, good night, Bean. D Misery has retired. WLW Thursday has been promoted to a late night slot. Bruce Sanchez wants more money. Jafar wants more money. El Machito wants more money. You didn't even do anything this month. You weren't even available to me this month. You were wrestling in Japan. Come on, El Machito. Jarrell Clark, Axel Law, done. Steve Stone. Cheap Japanese Toys have ended their sponsorship deal with WWE. Jufitsu have ended their sponsorship deal with TNA. Irish Tree Fellers have ended their... Okay, so... Got a lot of... Made 50 grand off of merchandise this month. Superb work. Our public image is improving every month. We're making money, so it's great. So everything is still going okay. I'm pretty sure that's okay. So yeah, now we're at public image of 50%. Do we have any other interested sponsor people? Nope, it's pretty much the same people that we've already rejected, so never mind what I was saying. Look at our monthly performance. Ooh. So we have $804,395. Pretty sure if you let the amount of money that you have sitting in the bank get too high, you end up running into random events or something like that that just cost you money for no good reason. So I should probably think about going into the meeting here. Let's talk to Sophie. Yep, we are still. We need to increase our production values to around 26% as soon as possible. There you go. She thinks we need to increase our production values. So our two touring workers need new characters. Act of Law could use a change of gimmick. Marcos' act is starting to grow stale. His act of me never using him. Big Show might be near the end of his contract. It's rumored that this is close to the end of the contract of Edge. Alright. So let's go in here. 60 grand. How much money did we make? We only made 50 grand. Our production costs are 45 grand. So I guess we still have some money to increase our production values. We need to increase them to around 26% as soon as possible. Well, I tell you what, right now we could go into production values and raise it by 10. Pay for a 10% increase? Sure. So that's going to have cost us a little bit of cash, and it is going to continually cost us more cash as the years and days go by. But hopefully our increased production values will make people respect us more. That's what it is. It's all about respect. So, yeah, let's take a look at the feud tracker here. So far, the statistics of this feud are Fast Eddie dissed El Machito one time. Sophie wants the feud to keep going. What's going on at this feud? Axelaw is building up a pretty big advantage here because he keeps interfering in Steve Stone's life. So there you go, folks. Things are humming along. Now, the demands to increase our production values hopefully are not going to break the bank on us, but considering we have sort of a comfortable, a small, mind you, cushion of profit that we're making, we might be okay. But we won't find out for sure until next time. Until then, this is Bobo the Vulture. This has been Let's Play Extreme Warfare Revenge. Let's just look at the rankings of the world here. Actually, ROH is not as high up as I was thinking. But let's take a look at their let's take a look at the other promotions here real quick. Let's check out Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has a 98% public image in the cult-sized world. Rob Feinstein likes to build around technical wrestlers. And you can see these are some pretty good guys. Loki, Taka Michinoku, Ron Killings, Ikuto Hidaka is the guy that they keep talking about being the next potential big thing. Let's view their roster. Yeah, look at these guys. These are really good wrestlers. Amazing Red. Well, he's not the best technical wrestler. He has an amazing high flyer skill, though. Highlight reel seems like an appropriate gimmick for a guy like that. Angel. Not the not the best superstar, I would have to say, but whatever works for them. Anthony Bartlett Jr., of course, this is where he ended up, lest we forget. Has he developed any worker relationships? April Hunter. She hunts Aprils. Balls Mahoney, technical genius right there, skill of 11. Same with Big Vito. And of course, Brian Knobs. There's your real. Look at Chris Chetty here. That is that's a good, well-rounded superstar there, who is a member of the team Erotica with Danny Doring. Danny Doring does not appear to be here, though, although Dan the Man is. Alright, Evan Courageous. Wow, 90 technical score. Yeah, see, there's some really good talents here on a written contract with ROH. Guys like Hardcore Homo Angel. There's a Kudo Hidaka, the guy that everybody talks about being so great. Johnny Cashmere. And Conrad. You guys remember Conrad. Conrad and Anthony Bartlett Jr. both ended up in ROH and are probably replaying their famous, legendary Vulture Championship Wrestling angle over and over again. And there's Chris Sprules. He may be involved in them now too, although I feel like Chris Sprules wasn't even in the company when those guys were there. It's all... There's Medeja. You guys better not be making fun of Medeja. Alright, the unsinkable Monty Brown. Wait, is Nunzio under written contract? Yeah, they got Nunzio locked up. All right, so I don't know. I'm just and Sensational Sherry is a member of this league. So yeah, ROH seems like a fun place to be right now. Taka Michinoku, you are so friggin' amazing. What an amazing, awesome superstar this guy is. And the Warrior. Alright, so at this point I'm just killing time, so I should probably just go ahead and hang it up for this episode. Thanks for watching, everybody, and when we come back next time, it's going to be rolling into Fall Brawl territory. Potentially featuring War Games, The Match Beyond, but probably not, because I barely even do tag matches because I'm worried about spending all that money. So, yeah, you're probably just going to see Fall Brawl minus War Games, The Match Beyond. Thanks for watching, everybody, and... Oh, wait a minute. I meant to look at our staff. I didn't actually hire a new announcer, did I? We have just Dennis Shock. Yeah, that's right, because I figure we may as well wait until we can move up another tier of talent. Also, I'm being cheap. So, yeah, all those things are important to note. Bye for now, everyone.